wrapped it up with page 164. The last three paragraphs and then a line following. Still, you may say, but I will not have the benefit of contact with you who wrote the book. We cannot be sure. God will determine that. So you must remember that your real reliance is always upon Him. He will show you how to create the fellowship you crave. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask Him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously, you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with Him is right, and great things will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to Him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past, give freely of what you find, and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then. The end.
Thanks, Mickey.
You're welcome.
Unfortunately, I couldn't follow you. The book I have doesn't have those pages. That's pretty good. So
you lost page 164, huh?
I have, yeah. Yes. I've lost a lot of pages in this book. No, I got 161, but I don't have the other ones. No. Hold on a second. Was that page 164?
That was.
Oh, I have some of that. Whatever. All I want to share is, everything the book says and stuff, a lot of it is just so spot on. Paul Alcoholic, by the way. But I do disagree with the idea that you have to have something to give it away. I believe if you're willing to give it away, you'll have it. Yeah. Or it'll have you, in a sense. So that's one thing I don't agree with there. So, yeah. The point we're sharing about is on page 64. And being convinced means to believe with certainty. So basically, it's the diagnosis of what has defeated us. It's not alcohol or drugs. They were weaponry used, but they weren't what has defeated us. It was this idea of self. Now, you can argue with it or not, but it's right on page 64. Being convinced seems to be a pretty comprehensive answer. So being convinced self manifested in various ways is what has defeated us. That's the diagnosis. Yeah, just like on page 67, the diagnosis of fear isn't it why you're in all this fear because self-reliance has failed you. So that's a diagnosis of fear. In AA, in that book, fear is seen as an effect of the cause, and the cause is self-reliance. Yeah, there you go. Before that, self is manifested in various ways as what has defeated us. Okay, so if you look at, all right, self is what has defeated us, and we find ourselves relying on it right now, we're probably going to be in a lot of anxiety and fear, girding our loins for the next defeat. Really, I don't see how, the surface yapping, there's other aspects of what we are that reverberate with what's actually happened. Yeah. it's not covered over by a story. The story works on only a very shallow level, yeah? So when you've been traumatized by that which you've relied on in this life, let's say parents, or yeah, like somebody like a teacher in one of the cults or something, and then the Reliance is shown to have been, insane. Those people, it's not just papered over. There's a reverberation, and then you'll meet them and they go, "Oh, I'm fine," but that's on a very low, very shallow level. Yeah, they're rocked because they relied on something that failed them. They gave it their all, let's say, and they were betrayed, so to speak. Yes, or let down. Yeah, and so what would happen if you found yourself in that same condition? You would have that underlying anxiety or trauma reverberating while listening to a surface narrative, about, oh, my greatest concern is my hem of my pants looks a little too short with these shoes or something. You know what I mean? These are distracting methodologies of the head to not recognize the elephant in the room. Yeah. So it gets you going this way and that way. But basically, you're going to be a petri dish for anxiety if you're relying on that which has defeated you. Yeah? It's got to have a field day. It doesn't seem like it's on a rocket science level. It's just dog shit level. Yeah? I've been totally screwed over by something. It's sort of like a horse in a barn, and it's been ridden very badly by one jockey, let's say. Yeah? The horse is somewhat okay, but then in the corner of the eye, it sees the jockey coming over. It's going to start getting anxiety, kicking and, whatever horses do when they're agitated. Yeah? Because on a level, it knows this isn't going to be good. If this jockey gets on me, yeah, and rides me, yes? So here we are, and we are driven, we are ridden, yeah? And when we sense that thing that, ran us into the ground is running the show, obviously, a lot of the emergency lights are going to be going off, yeah? So what do? You don't want to see those lights, or drink or whatever, distract yourself, get into drama, cheat on somebody, whatever, just to create some activity now so you don't see that activity. All the while there's a story, oh, it's Paul, on the surface level. But it's not like we're constitutionally incapable of being honest, but that which we're relying on has no real honesty in it. Yes? Because if it was honest, it would say it's not so, really. So basically, it's built on dishonesty. Yeah. And it says you have to be honest. And it wasn't so much cash register honesty. It was about this, that something has defeated us. Yeah. And we need some kind of help to stop that defeat. We don't seem to be enough power available for us to defeat it. Yeah. So we submit ourselves to this program of recovery. Recovery from what? Those conditions that caused us to be set up for defeat. Yeah. And it works. AA works. If your ceiling of success is not to flip out on the July 4th celebrations, you probably won't. Yeah. You may be able to have a family and be able to bring up kids and take care of them and not be so obsessed with yourself that you can't be of service. These things can happen. Other people, hey, you may be relieved of a huge amount of weight of the bondage of self. Yeah, a lot of possibilities. Maybe you'll be put to use to help other people who have the same situation, that they're under the same tyranny. Who knows how it's going to work? but it's going to work. Yeah, it's going to work. You can be a sober a day at a time. Yeah, you can take a huge influence out of your life. Yeah, you can't, but the program will. Yeah, and you will, instead of being trusting in the finite self, and you want to call it trusting or faith in or reliance, it's the same movement. Yeah, or trusting the infinite. And you'll know the tree by its fruits. You've had enough of the sour fruits of trusting self. Yeah. Now you've been introduced to a new fruit. It's much tastier. Doesn't create heartburn and fucking a lot of other shit. And it's conducive to your health and other people's health. Yeah. So I just don't see, if we keep calling the manifestations of self ours, how are we not going to be identified as it? We're not identified as it, but we'll be in the act of being identified as it. Yes, we will take its manifestations. They will never become my manifestations, but we'll take its manifestations as ours. Yeah. Are they ours? No. Were they ours? No. Will they be ours? No. They're manufactured through self. Yeah. But they can seem to be ours. And when they seem to be ours, they can have a fucking devastating effect on us. Yeah. Even though clearly they're not ours, if they seem to be ours to us, they have a huge effect. I feel it's important to at least, put out a possibility that there's a huge nugget in that page 64 sentence. Maybe knowing it or not, maybe that download came through and then the head reverted back to, I'm the problem. I'm the source of all my misery. I have to have it to give it away. I don't believe that. I believe if you're willing to give it away, you'll have it. It's happened to me thousands of times. Thousands of times I've gone to workshops or something that I had the privilege to lead. I had no clue. I wasn't prepared, shit, nothing. Just sat down there and something happened. Every time. So you're not going to tell me that I had it because I didn't have it. But I did have it because I was giving it away. Yeah? Or it had me. So I disagree with that. And I disagree with that we manufacture our own misery. I don't believe that. I do not believe I set out to manufacture misery. I do not believe it. That's not my experience. Yeah. My experience is something took me over and liked to manufacture misery through me. Definitely. Most definitely. But that's very clearly different than I'm the manufacturer of my own misery. Misery's there. It's been manufactured, but who is the author of it, I think is very important. If you keep seeing it as you're going to have a lot of guilt and shame based on past miseries that you felt you induced on yourself or on others. And even though you make the amends, you probably won't get that much relief because you haven't forgiven yourself. You should have known better. Yeah. And therefore that dead event is still being given life and being used to beat the shit out of yourself. I do not believe you do that either. I don't. I believe there's a fucking wild howl like in 2001 who's running the mission and basically it's going to lock you out into space if necessary. Yeah, it's just you can beg and plead, but it doesn't really give a shit. So yeah, that's all, and it's more than enough, because if you just break down that sentence, being convinced means to believe with certainty. Yeah. Let's just say we are all convinced. Okay. So we've made the first hurdle. The only requirement was being convinced. Okay. Of what? Self manifesting in various ways is what has defeated us. I definitely believe self is not another name for us. I don't see that. I don't see somehow self is us. I just don't. I think they're two different things. Yeah. There's something self, well, I don't even like that term, but self, and then there's another something us. Yeah. We're the defeated, it's the defeatee, so to speak. Yeah. All right. So, okay, being convinced of that. That's the statement. Are you convinced of that? If you're not convinced of it, is it definitional wise? Do you believe us is self? And if you do, I don't know what to say, because I don't see self as the same synonym for us. I don't see it. Yeah. So, all right. If that's the case, we now have been given the exact nature of the wrong. Self manifesting in various ways is what has defeated us. It will defeat us. It can defeat us. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if that's the case, we'll now look at its common manifestations. Okay, there it is. Now it jumps a paragraph to the procedural, what we're going to do. All right, first common manifestation of self, resentment. Yeah, bing. Okay, there you go. Are you doing an inventory on your resentments? Or is the inventory on resentment a manifestation of self which has defeated you? Which one is it? Following those directions, with the conclusion be, I'm doing an inventory on my resentments, when it's clearly pointed out that resentment is a manifestation of self in our lives. Yeah? Are we following the direction clearly? Are we open for some suggestion? Maybe you can look at it in a different way. Right out of the book. Self, manifestations, resentment, one of the common ones. Fear, another common one. Harming other people in the pursuit of what you want. And we specifically look at our sexual behaviors because there's a lot of meaning in there. Okay? Those are the common ones. Of what? When did they turn to as ours? They don't, right? They're common manifestations of self. And they have that, and it's through those manifestations we have been defeated. Okay? I would love just to have that available. I don't see how it's not. I came in, I was taught to look at my resentments, my fears, my harms to others, and I understand the importance of being responsible, but I don't believe that has to be the lifelong stance about shit you had anything to do with. I don't. I feel it's necessary while in Rome and being a Roman, I've got to take responsibility for what happened. But I really believe there's another wave in recovery, which is accountability, where when we look at our role in things, we see self's role in things. And we finally tell the truth about self's role in things. And we see I'm not that. And then the possibility of being free from it becomes available. That's how I see it. Yeah. Call me crazy. I don't know if that's how. I really do. I'm amazed at I can describe like a jacket and the person can get it and then go find the jacket in the store. I can give them directions sometimes and they'll actually arrive at where they want to go. For some reason, it just doesn't seem to land in a lot of ways. I don't know. So I've had people debate me for hours that self is a collective or us is the collective of self. I think, what? That's just, what the hell? I don't see that in that sentence. I grew up in America. I've learned English in this way. self and us in the same sentence wouldn't apply to one thing. It would be two things. Yeah. I just don't see it. So what is that thing called self? Is it ego? I don't know about that. Because isn't there a feeling there's someone who has an ego? I feel that sense of the someone that has the ego is the self. I think that's it. Yeah. That feeling of being the doer when doing is noticed. The feeling or the sense, it's a sense really, a sense of being a thinker when thoughts are noticed. Yes? When remembered, a sense of being a body. Yeah. When I remember Paul from 5 years ago, he's seen as a body. That's the only way I can remember it. Yeah. When I'm worrying about Paul, he's seen as a body. Or I couldn't worry about Paul as spirit 5 years from now. I mean, really. But I can sure damn worry about this image of Paul, and that image gets across to me as a body. Yeah. Now, if I am a body and I try to become spiritual, good luck. How's that going to happen? How are you going to graft nothing onto something and then expect it to hold? You can't stitch it. You can't tattoo it. You know what I mean? Whatever you are believing or having faith in is going to be the dominant influence. So if you have faith that you're a body and a mental activity, the spirit is going to play a minor role. Yeah. If you see maybe you're not a body and not a mental idea, the spirit can play a huge role, which is actually its role. But you'll have the eyes to see it. Yes. But I don't believe identified as a body, you have the eyes to see spirit. I just don't see it. All you see is a body. You see spirit as a body. Yeah, like I'm a spiritual person. Whatever that means. I have a loving gaze. My hair is longer. I wear loose clothing, usually thin. Definitely clear eyes. They're important. They sound like physical attributes, not spiritual condition, don't they? Your hair is great looking. Oh, that's all right, great. You walk with such a calm demeanor. Oh, all right. That sounds like a body to me, but whatever. All right, but you're on a spiritual path. What goes on a path? The body. The spirit doesn't go on a path. Spirit is at the beginning and the middle and the end of the path. You can't walk out of spirit and then walk back into spirit. That's all there is. I'm going to show you the path to spirituality. That would be easy, here and now. How far am I going to have to go? As much as you think you have to. And as far as you go, it's going to fail you, and that's going to be its value. And you're going to realize you've always been that which you've been looking for. What? Yes. The craziest day I was seeing, just like I'm seeing on the most beautiful day. The seeing is always there. Yeah. 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 So I don't, yeah, I'm so happy for having this platform. I hope somehow even you're not liking the message will help you travel lighter. That's really the goal, is to travel lighter. Yeah, not take yourself so seriously. That kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All eyes aren't upon you all day. Most people are going about their business, not having a thought or any idea of you and what you're doing in your little compound. I can't make a mistake. Oh, yes, you can. You're bound to. If there's toes, you'll probably step on them sooner or later. That's what happens. We have a way to clear it up, make amends, go, hey, I hope not to do this to anyone else ever in my life. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, we have a beautiful way of life as an action figure. Yeah. So thanks, everyone. Thank you. Whoever is running the show, is it Kurt?
It's me,
Oh
Paul.
no! How could I have forgotten, Mickey? I I went
That's
somewhere.
because the reading was so short today.
Oh yes, that's true. My reaction was exhaustive, though. Sorry. I'm feeling a bubbling up today. It's nice. I
You're
know. I want to
delivering
say
well,
something
Paul.
on Mickey. I just want to say something. You know, we're not. Yeah, this isn't subterfuge or a conspiracy. We're not trying to change shit in the book. We're just pointing out something that I think is there in plain sight. Yeah, and maybe it's not saying, do inventory every way you want and maybe try it this way. Take a little segment and see how it looks when the inventory is done and the manifestations that are looked at, or the defects, whatever you want to call it, are called yours, and see how it is when they're called something else. Yeah. Which begets lightness. Yeah. I think it's pretty easy. Yeah. All right. You go to the fourth column. Self is 2 out of the 4 attributes usually. Self-seeking and frightened and selfishness. Yeah. And then inconsiderate and dishonesty, which sounds like something you do when you're selfish and self-seeking and frightened. So basically it's self. We arrive at self on the fourth column. I just don't see how we're not reading it. Yeah, it's all there. I think self's probably the most used word in the book. Yeah. I just, well, yeah. Anyone, Mickey? Anybody?
Does anybody have oh yeah, we have some heads up. Let's start with Jack G. Are you ready for Jack G, Paul?
I'll never be ready for Jack G, but bring him on. Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Paul. I'll turn my camera around. I a couple things. I thought of a new nickname for you, Paul, which I'm gonna. It's the Demolition Man,
The
because you're really
demolition.
good at you're really good at tearing down walls, metaphorically. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I had an episode of pretty much a full-on attack from the head the past 2 days, and everything that happens, the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, and so, and of course I'm in the middle of this, but I know that it's not real, and I know that it's that it's the effects of self. And even though I know it's not real, I was still getting the feelings and the emotional stuff. But one thing I knew not to do was to act or react to anything.
Yeah.
I kept yeah. And then of course it completely changed this morning. Did a complete 180. Because I got a phone call from somebody, which had a lot to do with what all my thoughts were about. And after that conversation, it was completely gone. Everything. the thoughts, the feelings, the wanting to act, and the discipline to not act. It just all went away after that call. So the question I'm getting to here is, I knew in the middle of what was going on here that this assault wasn't real, and I knew that I had the head of self up my ass. I knew it, but that didn't prevent the feelings and all that other stuff from being there and seeming very, very real. So I guess what I was going to ask you is when we know that this self is in full-on assault mode toward us, what do we do about it? And it was an outside action that ended it for me. It was the phone call, but I couldn't end it myself, which kind of bothered me because I know it all. I know how well, as much as I can. I know how this is working, but I couldn't end it myself. So I was just wondering if there was any advice you could give as far as future assaults on self, from self, I mean, they could end it sooner.
Yeah.
And we're gonna just
They're
one
not
more
even
thing.
happening now, and you're hoping you're wanting it to end sooner.
Yeah.
That's the head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, well, I think what you said has a lot of nuggets in there. One of them was you knew something, but you couldn't do it. So this is the dilemma of powerlessness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the solution of AA is reliance on something other than you. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a perfect example of it. So, and based on, and you have tons of evidence to galvanize this belief based on something can do for you what you can't do for yourself. So now you've had another example of it. It wasn't the outside call. The outside call was used by that power to do something that you couldn't do by yourself. Yes. Yeah.
Got it. Yep.
That call could have gone completely differently. So it wasn't the call in a way, but there was something in an artistic way. You could see like a divine choreography that happens. Yes. Yes. And when you react to the situation, when the dance steps come under review, a lot of the dance steps are relying on self. Yeah. And then finally, the new dance step, which is relying on the higher power, steps in and blows the imaginary house away. Yeah. Yeah. Let that sink in and let it have an effect by not scurrying off into the next fear of when is it going to happen. I want to have a better strategy, but enjoy the absence of it now and let some information download in there. And yes. Yeah. I mean, what galvanizes to me in AA over time are the principles, because you see them put to use or put to practice, not by you, but by life, and in its role in you. Yeah. And you see how solid they are, don't you? Yeah. So what's reliance on self at that time? Sitting there with great belief in the thoughts that are coming. Yeah. What's reliance on the higher power is an assurance that comes from the silence that's surrounding all those thoughts. Yeah. And there was great progress. You didn't act on those thoughts. That's incredible. Most people are constantly just trying to learn how to do less harm, but nothing came out. So you didn't, burn the house down and leave, and then you get the call. Yeah. You
Right.
didn't do shit. And so basically there was no shit to, to clean up when you got the call that, hey, there's no shit. Because you could have made a whole lot of shit,
Oh, yeah.
even though there was no shit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
to me, this is hallelujah. Why run? Let's enjoy, quote unquote, that victory before you're worried about the next defeat. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You learned a lot there. You learned that self-knowledge avails you nothing.
Right.
And this program is a reliance on a higher power. It's not a reliance on Jack. Even though, no, but it's not a reliance on a sober Jack or a
Right.
knowledgeable Jack. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a reliance on something other. And you and I, we have an intimacy with that unsuspected inner resource. We've got to by now. Yeah. Yeah. Its
Yeah.
presence isn't printed on the walls of your head. It fills your life. Yes. It's not like graffiti telling you you're screwed every day. It's you feel it, you sense it, just like you used to sense the sense of self. You now sense a sense of presence. Yeah, which is yeah. On a power scale, they're in a completely different ballgame. Seriously. Yeah,
Right.
I feel. Yes. So a lot of shit that the only time I would wake up to is after I made a lot of other moves of shitty moves. They don't get to manifest anymore. They may cause a manifestation in you, so what? Take a shower or a bath or shit. Go swim, jump in some cold water. You'll shake it right off. But at least you didn't leave a mark out here that you got to spend
Right.
months trying to clean up and shit.
Yeah.
This is how the self really, really buries you by effects. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you'll do something in a 5-minute moment of rage that may leave a 30-year effect, like a prison sentence. Yeah. Yeah. So that person would have done anything not to have acted out. They would have
Right.
done anything in their life if they knew that was going to happen, that they wouldn't have acted out when those thoughts came. You've been given that gift to have thoughts come and for thoughts to go without leaving a big mark. Hallelujah, man. A lot of people are dealing it on a much heavier level. They're dealing with the consequences of actions compelled by thoughts. Man, that's sometimes it's unbearable. I mean, what can happen? Yes. So, yeah. So we are really have been upgraded, even though the head looks at the same way in every level. I mean, we used to have a joke: if you dropped an alcoholic into heaven, it would be hell in a day. Yes, because that's the way the head is. It's a little too cool up in heaven or whatever. They'd be fucking complaining about something. So, let's all stop and say, hey, you could have really fucked up in 2 days, Jack. I see that potentiality. So, and you didn't. Fantastic. I should have known better. Don't go there. That's just the head. Yeah. The
Right.
head's trying to minimize a little demonstration of the two principles. Yeah. 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 So great. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks, Paul.
My advice is, anytime you're really feeling totally crazy, service, and if it's not service, then put on Netflix or something, distract yourself. Really, because if you distract yourself and not do anything, it's going to dissipate by the second episode of the thing you're watching. Probably you'll get absorbed in the story on the screen more than your story. It works. I'm serious. I did it when I had the knee operations. I watched Bloodline in Netflix. It was great. I couldn't do anything. I was just laying in bed. What am I gonna? I'm just gonna meditate. Give me a break. What am I gonna meditate? I broke my knee. Lame. Fuck. I don't know. I'd rather watch Bloodline. Watch John kill his brother. Whatever. Oh, I just spoiled the whole story. No. There's other ones now, I'm sure, but that's the one I fell into when I was there. Yeah. And then just like my old sponsor had that story, he got he had like some gas cans in his garage just blew up, and he had like 80% of his whole body, third degree burns. And this guy was very, very cool. Cy P. And was in the hospital, and he was in a lot of suffering. See, yeah. And he was poor me. And then so the nurse came in and wanted to know if he'd like to talk to someone down in the ward. And he's going, can't she, in his head, can't she see I'm suffering? Leave me alone. Da 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 da. So, but because another possibility had been sown in that head, and a habit was there in recovery, she said, yes, all right, he said, bring him in. And so some guy, a young alcoholic, came in, had gotten in a motorcycle accident. And for 3 hours, he talked to him. And then when the guy left, he realized I didn't think about the pain for those 3 hours. So he called up the nurse and says, get me every fucking alcoholic, get him in here, just keep them coming. Because he found something that worked, which is the service aspect, getting out of oneself. Yes? Yeah. What would you do if your house was on fire? You would leave it. Yes. What you do when your head is on fire? You need to leave it. Yeah. Don't stay there. There's no fire, no shit. You're outmatched. Leave it. Do some service. Distract it. Take a walk. Jump in cold water. That will drop it right there and then. Whatever. Yeah, there's lots of ways. But the worst thing is to sit there. Assuming you have more power than that which is defeating you. Right. I mean, it's crazy. Right. Yeah. 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 All right, Jack. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Paul. How about Rob S. from Louisville?
Yes, Rob.
Hey, what's up, Rob, alcoholic? I hate saying that sometimes. I'm just Rob, man. God, I just want to say fuck. Because dude, so I'll just put it out there, as people say. I got this resentment against my wife. And some people on this meeting know my wife, so I'm trust you with information. And I don't care if you call her. But she spends all day on Zoom, all fucking day, all day. Doesn't even leave the bedroom. And my head is like, that. She shouldn't do that. She need to do this. She need to, and all this stuff goes on in my head. And I see it. I step back and I can see it. And it's freaking hilarious. I start laughing, and then I go back into it, and then I go back out of it. And then I'm sitting in this meeting, and I'm like, I really see the self. I see it going on. I see Rob seeing all that stuff, and it's freaking mind blowing. But I grew up upper middle class, had a silver spoon, ended up crack cocaine, heroin, alcohol, in and out of AA. Been to 20,000 meetings, and yet I go back into this thing about my wife and obsessed about it. It's just mind blowing, dude. And then there'll be something else, whatever. It could be my front yard looks like shit. I need to fix it. I need to clean it up. And for a half hour, I don't see it, and it's all whirling in my head. And then I see it. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Why is this? So I know I know you, Paul, you saw this self, and you see it all the time now, I suppose, you know. And I go in and out. It's trudge, dude. That's what it feels like. I'm trudging, like she read in the book, you know. So,
But it doesn't stay that way. Yeah, because recovery progresses, just like they say the disease progresses, recovery progresses. It does. It progresses. Yeah. And a lot of times, for something to change, you got to go through the awful responsibility of seeing it. And so you see it in all its glory. You see the emperor with no clothes, and you wish, hey, I've seen it enough already, but it may not be until it's done. Yeah. And so, yeah, we live the life of distraction from that elephant in the room. Now you're seeing the elephant in the room and the huge shits and everything else, and maybe you'd rather not see it, but it's too late. As a great master in India said, you're in the tiger's mouth already. It's too far to go back. You might as well just keep going. And have these platforms where you can share and shit like that. Because, I felt in a way, I don't like using the word love, but in a way, a larger part of the progression of sobriety has been like love showed up and just demanded itself of me. It just said, fucking, yeah, love just pulled out the love, really. It just refused to let me do the shenanigans I used to do. Yeah. And just, if I try to avoid it, he just keep bringing examples of the same principle until there was something cracked, and and it was demanding, and I wish I would have been able to avoid it, but I couldn't. It was too late. And then there was a certain sense of I resigned to the fact, of something's running the show and it ain't me. So basically, I wouldn't call it trudging. I would, but I wouldn't call it skipping either. It's not skipping the road of happy destiny, but it's not trudging the road of happy destiny. But yeah, it's a real rude awakening when that where you arrive at, the self can't get any value out of. It has a hard time making everything special. It does. So, which is awesome, I feel, truly. I may not have felt it was awesome when I was 22, 23, but it's awesome at this point. Yeah. 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 So, yeah, bro, just keep coming back. You're not really the engine of the process. Yeah. Yeah. You're not the cause of the process. You're under the process. Yeah. So we have submitted it. We did a third step. Yeah. We may not have thought we truly turned it over, but maybe that which we turned it over took it to be true. And so basically, you're surrendered, and there you go. It's gonna go the way it wants to go, not you. Isn't the third step? Could you imagine? You may not have taken it seriously, but that which you declared the third step to may have taken it seriously. It's now the purpose. Your purpose is to be a maximum use, not to be great, not to have what you want, but to be of use. Hey, you signed up. uh, yeah. Mommy, I want to go home. No, Doesn't work that way. uh,
I say that every time when I come home, mommy.
yeah, you're in good hands, bro. There you go. Yes.
Thank
And a
you.
resentment is a resentment. It's not your resentment towards your wife. Thank God. Yeah. Yeah. The head is having the resentment because it gets a whole lot more out of it. Yeah. The resentment is actually not even close to being the primary drive. There's something else it's mining out of that resentment, the head. Yes. It's up to some other shenanigans, so to speak. It always is. Yeah. Like in the Course in Miracles, if you ever heard it, it says, you're never upset for the reason you think. Yes. So, yeah. Yeah. So, thanks, bro. Nice to see you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Paul. And how about Deborah? Let's bring Deborah Babb in.
All right. Hey, Deborah.
Hi. I was this is what the self said. I'm just gonna sit and listen today, and then so much for that. You brought some insights up, and I just had a question about I remember my relationships uh a defensiveness that would come up, defense, always defending, if I made a mistake or if I did something different than what the other person would do. And then while you were talking, it seemed like I realized that that defense is the self guilting still. It's like when you said that it's not our, we didn't do, we we were captured by self. And when you make amends and you let it go as the selfing doing that, then when people bring up that you make mistakes, what's cool now is I don't get defensive, because it's like, oh, I just made a mistake. It's kind of like, it's really hard to describe it, but it just like goes through. It doesn't catch
It
inside
goes
me. It
lighter.
doesn't.
It's lighter. Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's because what you helped with was it wasn't me that was doing all that stuff. And so now my fourth step is like really working, because it's like I don't have all that guilt-ridden stuff inside me that attaches everything people say, that it sticks there. It sticks kind of, it
Yeah.
doesn't do that anymore. So that's really awesome. And then uh another observation I had was I woke up and I have to get all my teeth pulled, which is, I'm just watching the head go on with its
All your teeth.
dramas and stuff.
Oh.
All my teeth, yes, smoking and drinking. So and it's you know what did you call it? Not responsibility, but what was the other word you used?
Accountability.
Accountability. So
Yeah.
it really helps. So then I wake up with the feelings in my body of the dread, and then that attack, I realize it's just attacking itself. It's not really attack. There's no one to attack.
Yes.
There's no one to attack. So it is attacking itself, declaring that it's attacking whatever that doesn't exist, basically.
Yeah.
Can't even explain it, but I really appreciate all that help. It's just amazing. I'm like going, I don't feel fear when I talk to people, no matter what they come up with, or myself, like what I'm gonna, say or do, and it's just kind of more of a dance, and it's really wonderful. And I really appreciate all your insights and so forth. So thank you.
Thank you. Let's say you landed on a planet, yeah? And to meet that planet, you'd have to have a suit on that would control and measure atmosphere and shit like that. And then the suit itself would respond to the situations. You're just in there, yeah? The suit's doing it. Yet there would be an actor being identified as the suit. You would constantly go over what the suit did, thinking, why did I do it when you didn't do it? The suit did it, yes? But because of that simple but quite influential mistake of taking yourself to be the suit, then everything it does or doesn't do, it creates a mental like avalanche of thought. Yeah, I should have done this, shouldn't have done that. Why did I do this? There's this. All the while, you really, in a sense, had nothing to do with it. You're accountable because you're at the same location as the suit. Yes, but you're not the suit. So you finally leave that atmosphere, and it's time to get out of the suit. But you're now trying to rehab the suit. You're trying to make the suit super better, and it only has a limited ability of change, yeah, because it's a program. It's not artificial intelligence. It's a program. It sees certain things, maybe a little variability of maybe, oh, it could be different, but on one level, it's an absolute. That's a thing, yeah. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Some of its programming, it runs out, and that's it. One of them is self can't get out of self. It just doesn't get that. So it keeps trying to use the suit to get out of the suit. When you're not the suit, but whatever. Yes? So if you can see it that way, and all of us, most of us here have done inventory and made amends. This is not a spiritual bypass maneuver. We've done all that. We've took responsibility for the shit that happened, and now maybe it's time for a new wave and recognizing, hey, the suit made me do it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I feel recovery progresses on a social level also. Yeah. And I feel like the fourth column, when you look at your role in things, you're going to see this idea of self's role in things. So in a way, there's a progression of finally getting to accountability. Yeah. I feel that's where you don't need to shut the door on the past and shit, because now there's not so much trafficking of guilt and shame from the past to the present. Yeah. You really have a clarity. Like I had the experience of it in AA the first year when I got sort of ambushed by an amend. And I was in a situation where I was living for my face instead of my ass. Have a new girl I met. I wanted to, impress her. And someone came into the situation and said I owed them $500 from the past. They had gained weight. I didn't recognize them. And, I got caught with my pants down, so to speak. But I remember there was no big reaction to it. I didn't feel guilt or shame. Literally, that thing did not trigger. I had realized the idea that this was a disease and that I would do to anyone what I could get away with unless you could physically stop me. That was basically where that thing had driven me. Yeah. And I just told her the truth. And I told her, the only reason why you're going to see this money is I'm in recovery, basically. And I sent her a check and everything like that. Yeah. And that wasn't just a forgotten moment. It was it impressed upon me something very powerfully. Yeah. And that little scent I got from that trail led me to a recognition. Maybe it led me, who knows, to see self as other than me completely. Not me having a disease, but me still carrying most of the burden. But no, there's something I don't see as a disease. I see it as me. And that's where the alcoholism landed and found a home, was in that self, that idea of self. So I'm just sharing my experience, strength, and hope, and what I have observed over 30 something years of recovery, of what's happened from this character who was completely taken to be the suit, and who has been freed somewhat by the suit, from the suit. Yeah. Even though I appear in it, I'm not the suit. Yeah. Which is hallelujah to me completely. Yes.
So it's like jumping off the horse, then is what you're saying.
Yeah. And see, like the suit, you'll find it like this. A suit has a reaction. You misplace your car. Someone stole it. Yeah. That's what it does. You know what I mean? My friend had this beat up truck. No one would fucking take it if you offered it to them. But then his first reaction when he forgot that he parked it somewhere, someone stole my truck. And you could see he went on about a 2-hour rant, calling the police, all like this. And then someone remembered, oh, I picked you up at your truck and took you to the meeting. And and they drove back and there was his truck. But the first reaction from the suit, someone stole it. The first reaction when something goes bad, it's because of you. Yes. Now, if you keep living as the responsibility to that, you're going to stay in spiritual kindergarten. You're not going anywhere. Yeah. Because if you keep taking the suit's reactions as yours, there's going to be a whole fucking lot of work. Because you may be, if the conditions and circumstances are okay, you may be feeling spiritually great, but just a little bit of chaos, you're like, they stole my car. It's because of you. We wouldn't be here if I didn't listen. Yes? Immediately. Yes? Yes or no? Yes.
Yeah.
You're not going to get out of that as that. Just see it's not you. You're not going to get out of that as that. You're not going to get out of the suit as the suit. It's not going to happen. You know, you can work on it and keep everything but man, it will always revert back to the basic programming. Something's fucking with me. God, whatever. It's incentive. It's the source of all grievance. If only, yes. Suit. If you could have a little, like when there was talking going on, you know how they're doing now with fact checking? So when someone's yapping, who's in some position of power, they've had to start fact checking and so there's someone right underneath it. That's not true. That's not true. Maybe it would be nice if we had that app, but we don't have that app. Yeah. Right. We don't have that app to have a rebuttal of what's been yapping. Yes, we don't, because what tries to rebut it is that which is yapping. It's self trying to get out of self. It's the suit, once again, trying to get out of the suit. You got to see it as something other than you. Yes. Then it can yap away and try to, okay, I shouldn't have said that. And then what should I have said? And it's just self having a talk with self, really. You know, the screen could be used for, why do I want to look into that all day? It's boring. Yeah. Now, oh, wait a minute. Wow, I'm on a whole nother planet. It's freaking awesome. I can be touched by love and touch others. What? Yes. The suit. Yeah. But until you see you're not, you're going to try to progress as a suit. Recover as a suit. Yeah. And it has a little play in there, but it's not going to be a complete transformation. It just doesn't. Yeah. A suit is a suit is a suit. Yeah. It has a certain limitation and definition. Yeah. Yeah. Its beliefs cause it to be prone to a lot of anxiety. It believes in time. Yeah. So when something's great now, it's worried it won't be in a little while. Yeah. It can't enjoy much because of the ever present changeability of things through time. Yes. So it's always wishing for stabilization because it knows there can't be any. Yeah. And it doesn't do well with uncertainty. So it'd rather know shit that's not true than not know anything at all. Really. Yeah. And just gather with other people who don't know shit at and think they know it, and then be right some way. Yeah. That's what turns into a fucking gang or a fucking riot.
Right.
Yeah. So this is,
It's all about mistaken
what worked with
identity.
me. This is what worked with me. I saw self as other. And then as soon as that happened, the possibility of being free from it became available. It was not available as self. It isn't. The freedom is not available as self. I don't believe. Yeah. So, and I'm sticking to it because I've seen it over and over again, thousands of times in examples. Yeah. So, there you go. Thank you. I think that's it, eh? Do we have any more questions?
Thank you.
That's all I see.
Hey.
Thanks,
I
Deborah.
would recommend listening to the end of this tape again.
Hey, Paul, one quick question off the subject totally. I have a quick question.
All
I
right.
just want you to define, if you could for me, the action figure. When you say action figure, is that a mental process? When you say action figure,
No,
what do
it's
you,
the
what do you
appearance.
think?
It's the physical. It's the physical
physical.
body.
The
Yeah.
body, the suit.
It's the suit. It's the suit with its reactions. It's yes. It's its tires, its motor, the brain. Yes. Yes. Like the camera and the tripod. Yes. That's what we're talking about. Not the light that goes through the camera, but the camera itself. The lenses. Yes. Yes. So how we see things is through light, but it's not in a way. Well, it is, but it's light seeing. Yeah, but it comes through this, and then it can go. The lens, bounces it in different ways. So basically, where you seem to be at is how you see things. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So you can change your location by not changing your location. Just seeing you're not the suit changes the location. It does. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Is now a good time to ask if we have any newcomers to these talks?
Well, yes, I guess so.
Sure. Do we have anybody? Raise your hand if this is your first exposure to these talks.
I think everyone's been exposed. Oh no, we have.
Oh,
Alicia.
Alicia.
Well, she's not burnt up. She's survived. Yeah.
First time. It's awesome.
Alicia didn't get burnt out of existence. She's all right.
Welcome, Alicia.
Nice to meet you, Alicia. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you for coming. Yeah. And thank everyone for coming. It's the us that makes this so. There's a lot of power at these things, I find. So, yeah. Drink up.
Yes, and your power live. I just need to comment that your power is being carried into the prisons, the two prisons in Chowchilla, the men's prison and the women's prison. And it is such a gem to see a whole brand new light start flickering.
Oh, great. Yes, great. Yes. That's fantastic. Yeah. Yes. Light likes to extend, I feel. Yes. So light likes to extend. Yeah. So there you go. Great. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Mickey. So I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Yeah, for the moment. So wait a minute. I had an announcement. Oh yeah, Saturday meeting. If you come to it, it's going to start at 1:30 because there's going to be at 1. There's going to be another get together about the retreat to Italy for people who have signed up for that. But at 1:30, it's usually 1, but 1:30 the talk will start, and we're having a live talk up in Auburn, up near Grass Valley, Nevada City in Northern California. So we're going to have people there. So just remember, the meeting itself will start at 1:30 Saturday, Pacific time, 1:30. Yes? Michael, everyone there, Stacy?
Got it.
All right. That's all. That's the only announcement. Okay, so we got Kerry. Yes, Mike. Oh, Mike, you have a question? All right. All right. We got Kurt. Nice to see you, Kurt, as always. Kristen, there she is. Mike A. Nice to see you, Mike. Walter, cooking up something in the Netherlands. Joseph C. Nice to see you, my friend. Tommy from Ireland. Mickey from Madeira. Deborah B. Always a pleasure. Thanks for your shares, Deborah. Jack G. You too. Thank you for your share. Anything that's shared here, you can find a principle in. Yes, it's beautiful. Yeah. And so, while when all the shit is being talked about, if you go into the shit, you'll come out with a nugget of value. Yes? Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Just wear gloves. All right, Michael Stacy, nice to see you.
There's a pony in all this stuff.
There's a pony, yes. We got Stefan on having never left. Oh, Zach, nice to see you, Zach. I just thought about you the other day. Nice to see you. Yeah. Rob, Louisville. The Louisville Slugger. Remember of the Pats. Jason from San Diego. Pleasure. Kieran. Nice to see you again, Kieran. Yeah. Carl. There he is. Terry. Fantastic. There she is. We got Eligio, King Baby. Nice to see him. There he is. Nice to see you, Eligio. Dave B from Here Now. Alex, iPhone. Ron's phone. Robert. Looks like a very mad raccoon. Yeah. We got, let's see, who else is here? That's about it. Well, wait, oh, I forgot here. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. Did I get Mickey? I got everybody. Hey, thank you for sharing the space with us. We appreciate it. Yes. See you guys soon. Bye.
Thanks,
Thanks, Paul.
Paul.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Paul.
Mickey.
You got it.
Yeah, thanks, Mickey.